Hey, Liternets. It's Paul. It's Matt. Dork Lords. We are here talking about Star Trek Discovery, Season 2, Episode 5, The Saints of Imperfection.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure what that title refers to. I'll say it refers to Section 31, because they're kind of like, look, you may not like our methods, but you need us. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're imperfect.
Sure.
We get the job done.
Who knows?
I don't know. Okay. I tried to look it up, like, oh, is it a lyric from a song? No, I didn't find it. So, anyway. If you know out there, let us know. Saints of Imperfection. Okay. So, this episode, it did that thing again. I've been joking about it, and it keeps getting worse. So, the joke was like, oh, you know how those video games where you get this destination, like, oh, you'll meet up with Officer Parkinson, and oh, great, I'll just finish this quest off, and then nope, oh, he left. Now you got to keep chasing him around, and eventually it gets really annoying, and you realize the game just had no other way to move you from point A to point B than to give you this carrot. All right, and so that's what the show's doing with Spock. Well, it did it again with Spock. They met the latest set of criteria to find Spock, and did not find Spock. No. So off,
I was fooled this time.
You okay?
This time I was like, well, he's got to be right there. They said he's supposed to be there. They're about to catch him. Okay, finally we'll get to see him. No.
So they're following the shuttle.
You know, you were saying, you know, like it'll probably have an end there. I was like, wow, it's the beginning of the episode.
Right, it's before the credits.
What the hell? All right, let's get some Spock.
No. So he's on the run. His shuttle is like evading them and has its shields up. And they're like, what the hell? So they like set off a charge near him to like knock out his shuttle a bit, and then take him on board. Then they got the phasers out, and then who should walk out? It's Giorgio Prime, evil Giorgio.
What they should have done, actually,
not Spock.
What they should have done is have her come out with her hands up, looking like Spock, and then and be Giorgio, and then be like,
or maybe it actually was Spock the whole time, but he was disguised as Giorgio. So yes, this is how they kind of bring Section 31 into the Discovery, family, which is, hey, we've been sent to find Spock as well. And so I guess Giorgio found the ship. Supposedly she found it unoccupied, abandoned. Why she's flying in it, I don't understand. Like, you think she would have, investigated it, checked out the star charts or whatever, and then, confiscated the ship. But instead she's like pretending to be Spock. I don't know.
And maybe she was doing something else while they, and she was like, I got to finish up. You see? I don't want them to stop doing what I'm doing. Boom. Oh.
She actually shot Spock. He's like lying in a crate inside the ship. They just never bothered to check. So yes. Anyway, so Giorgio's on the ship. There's a scene there where everybody puts their weapons down because apparently no one else knows. We asked this question and we were given the answer.
Yes.
This episode, no one else knows.
No.
That Giorgio is from the Mirror Universe.
She's ordered not to say.
Giorgio Prime.
Yes.
No. All right. Anyway, so we got enough of that in the counterpart. Okay. So, even Captain Pike is like, oh yeah, we went to the academy together, and you could drink us under the table, but you still knew your rules, so good on you. And I guess he didn't. I don't know. There was a period of time, obviously, where everyone probably assumed she was dead. They probably had a funeral for her.
Yeah.
And then suddenly she was back.
Right.
So I don't know. I might have at least asked that question. If I'm like, I haven't seen her in forever. I thought she was dead. She's not dead. I'm like, wow. So I thought you were dead. Or, wow, you look good for a corpse. Or, I was at your funeral. That was weird. Anyway, I don't know. But everybody, anyway. She also is very casual about mentioning being from the Mirror Universe while walking around the ship. You brought up the point that it's maybe so absurd to people that she can just say it and it sounds like foolishness, even though it's not.
Yeah. And it's certainly seems in character with her current,
Sure, she's kind of reveling in being secretly evil.
Yeah.
I'm secretly evil.
Or I'm wacky. Like,
Yeah. Then she flirts with the captain at one point.
Can we kill the person you're talking about? No? Oh, okay. Just want to see if you'd be down with killing someone.
Yeah.
That's all.
So, also with the Section 31, we get the idea that I guess having one Section 31 person on the ship isn't enough, so they have to have a liaison as well. And the liaison is their newest member, Ash Tyler. And so, of course, it's an excuse to get him on the ship because he basically has so many connections to all these other crew members. Specifically, obviously, Michael.
Yeah.
And a certain crew member whose neck he broke.
Yes.
That is now back on the ship
by
the end of the episode. Yeah. Spoiler alert. Okay, so
this whole thing is a spoiler.
This whole thing is a spoiler. So okay, the main bulk of this episode is rescuing Tilly. That's kind of the main purpose of it.
Sure.
So it's a Tilly-centric episode. Hence, one of my favorites.
There you go.
I can't even say it with a straight face.
No,
Damn it.
Yeah.
So Tilly, if you remember from the last episode, was put into a bunch of goo, and then the goo took her off into the mycelial network.
Matt was beside himself.
I was like, wow, maybe is she dead? Is she off the show? Okay, no, she's not off the show. All right, so Stamets and Michael come up with a just rock solid plan to get her back. Scott, so obviously their plan is theoretical, right? He's like, I think in theory, she's alive. I know she's alive and we can get her.
Yep.
We think.
Yep.
Here's how we're going to do it.
Yep.
When we're going to half jump,
yep.
And that means our ship is going to be in the mycelial network, and we've got about an hour before the hull is completely compromised and we're all killed.
Yep.
And we think we can get her. And they're like, we don't leave anyone behind.
No, we don't do that.
Wait. Did she have a red shirt on? No? Okay, yeah, we don't leave anybody behind. That's right. Okay, but so I get it, the idea of like I don't have a red shirt. Oh my God! I do. Paul does the show by himself. It's this whole like, we're going to go save her no matter what the cost.
Right.
Okay. I would propose to you, is there a threshold at which it would be inadvisable? Because it's pretty inadvisable this time, but apparently it's within the range of like, well, we got about an hour.
Right.
The ship, it'll cost us 8 quadrillion gold press latinum to fix the ship, but so be it. We're fine. When there's one person in trouble, we never leave them behind. But let's say instead of an hour, it's 5 minutes. And instead of she's alive, she has about a 10% chance she's alive. Is there a threat? Is there a point at which they're like, typically we don't leave anybody behind, but we're gonna leave this one behind?
It's a real good thing that Matt wasn't on the bridge. like, really? We're gonna damage the ship? I mean, it is Tilly. Come on, guys.
That's the thing. I was like, all right, well, we're gonna do whatever we can to save them. Who is the crewman again? It's Ensign Tilly, sir. Oh, well. All right, let's go to Starbase 7. Sorry, Tilly, we'll miss you. All right, but no, I'm just saying they took a big chance. They could have lost the whole crew. They could have lost the ship. And the odds of finding her were not great.
I don't know. The things that occur to me at times like this, which is bad for the show, bad for any show, is it could have just as easily been, it's easy. Just go halfway in, find them, and then, bring it back.
Yeah.
It could have been that. You could have written it that way.
Yeah,
but they didn't. So
right.
Just like, also we got, 10 minutes, and then they take 20 minutes to,
Yeah,
whatever.
okay, we'll talk about that. But, okay, anyway, I'm just saying.
So they wanted it to be like that.
It was in the inadvisable, but not so inadvisable that we can't do it threshold. Right. So they operate the plan. Meanwhile, Tilly is hanging out with May. Well, the spore that is in the shape of May.
Yes.
May. Well, let's call her May. May says, "Hey,
they call
look."
her May.
That's true. there's a monster loose in the mycelial network. It showed up thanks to you guys, and you need to help us get rid of it. So Tilly pinky swears to get rid of the monster.
Yeah.
Twice. In fact, there's 2 pinky swears in this.
Taught her that important thing.
Pinky swearing. And so turns out the monster is Dr. Culber.
Yes.
He's still alive-ish.
Yes.
And they find a way to bring him back. And damn it, if Dr. Culber isn't back on the show. He does not have a meeting with Ash Tyler, which inevitably is going to happen because Ash Tyler's still on the ship.
Yes.
And that, I can't imagine how that conversation goes.
Right.
Oh, you guys broke my neck for no reason at all, really. Just, I wasn't threatening you.
Nope.
I wasn't going to, I didn't have a phaser. I was going to shoot you in the face or anything. You just walked up behind me and broke my neck.
Right.
Hey, you know what?
Well,
happens.
He was gonna, He
was talking about his physiology. Like,
Right.
well, your physiology's weird. I'll have to make a note on this.
Yep.
That's all. I mean, in his
Well,
mind, it was.
that exposed him.
I get the idea that. Oh yeah, I would.
He had to report him, so he couldn't go.
I would have revealed you're a Klingon spy. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So you broke my neck. Anyway, you want to go grab a Jello? I don't know. I can't imagine the forgiveness scene is there. That's what I'm wondering. I can't imagine he would, frankly.
Right.
I mean,
no, it doesn't seem likely. Although, he actually, I think you could argue that it wasn't. He wasn't exactly conscious when he did it. I feel like it was sort of like, oh, what, you're going to expose me? I have to kill you.
Yeah, but he killed him.
I know. I'm just saying.
With his hands, too. It wasn't even like I shot him from a distance. I was close up, personal, neck snap.
Right.
I just don't see how that gets rectified. But okay, so be it. I mean, the show will deal with it, which is interesting. That makes drama.
Yeah,
that's drama.
That's right. Drama.
So obviously Tilly gets saved. Culber is saved.
Yes.
And we learn that, well, they didn't find Spock again. And they still don't, do they have a lead on him anymore? I don't know that they do. Anyway, Admiral Cornwell from season 1 shows up. And she's like, look, you two, Captain Leland of the Section 31 ship. Does the Section 31 ship have a name?
I can't remember.
It can disguise itself as an asteroid. We know that. That's new tech. Yeah. And apparently was it following Discovery as an asteroid?
That would kind of be suspicious.
That would be suspicious. Hey, any ships in this quadrant? No, there's just this giant rock following us everywhere we go. Right, maybe every 2 light years it turns into a different thing. So it's like rock, and then sun, and then giant bird, then space whale. I don't know. Anyway, it's got some tech that apparently is like,
probably the. I mean, who knows? I was gonna say maybe they cloak for part of the time, and then they,
it can cloak for sure.
But why? Yeah. But why you would necessarily want to be an asteroid? I guess if you're like, oh, look at that, what's that out there? Oh, it's an asteroid. It's not a ship.
They do like Macy's Day parades. They can turn into different shapes and
because technically, maybe they actually did it that way because they want to distinguish it from the technology that the Klingons at this time do have, which is
legit cloaking.
Right. So this is bullshit cloaking.
It's BS cloaking. So Leland and
What's
Captain
that big bunny rabbit out there?
I have no idea, but it's apparently got warp capabilities. So we know that Leland and Pike were at school together. Were they in school together or no? Pike was in school with Giorgio. Went to the academy. I didn't know if he went to the academy with Leland, but they have a back.
Yep,
they knew each other very well.
They know each other,
and they were apparently friends. Although Pike was like, "Well, you were always a little weird. You were always skirting the rules, but we're still buddies." But they're obviously not that friendly now. And
right.
So Leland wears the leather coat because he's like, "Hey, we're Black Ops." So the Black Ops guys who wear a pin that says Black Ops, I don't know, we're secret, but whatever. Okay, so the idea is, unfortunately, it seems to be going in the direction I hoped it wouldn't, which Cornwell says, well, we discovered some tachyon radiation, which indicates time travel. Yes, time travel, Paul. Your favorite.
Yes. I love time travel.
Time travel.
You know.
So,
but or
it's simply teleporters, transporters,
or cloaking.
Or cloaking.
So maybe it was like leftover stuff from the asteroid.
All right. Sure, could be cloaking. We'll hope it's cloaking, because if it's a future Spock time traveling back with little, the idea would be that he had these 7 beacons. They all lit up at once. It's like a computer program. It's like, bling. This is where the 7 will be. Then they're out. Now you need to go to this one during the time that this beacon is up. And so he's giving people hints as to what time they should show up at these beacons because bad things are happening and they had to fix them. And it's all because Spock somewhere in the future realized he should do this thing. I was just like,
yeah,
I don't want it to be that.
Me neither.
I'm not a fan of that.
No.
So hopefully not that.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Okay. But we do see then that, I guess, for the near future at least, Section 31 and Discovery will be working together, and Enterprise in a way, I guess, because if Pike, whatever, Pike's also got the Enterprise's head of security on board. And we see, before we cut back to talking about the ins and outs of this particular episode, in the trailer for the next episode, it appears to be that they're going to try to resolve this Ba'ul committing genocide on Saru's people. Yeah. I wonder if Section 31 will be involved in that as well. Probably, right? I don't know. We'll split up for now. Call us again when you come back to the Spock thing.
Maybe.
But anyway, the Ba'ul look particularly sinister. They've got these black stick-like hands, and they're like red eyes. I don't know. They kind of radiate go away about them. So I'm guessing they'll be some big baddie that they can kill with impunity. All right. Anyway, stop a genocide by killing everyone on the other side. That's how you do that. All right. So things about this episode that we liked or didn't like.
Yeah. Is there anything that you liked about this episode? I mean, come on.
Okay. I still do like. This is kind of a cop out, but I do like the look of the show. It looks good. It looks like it should be a better show than it is because it's shiny.
So you don't like JoJo?
Cool. I don't mind JoJo. I think she's a little.
You don't mind.
I think she's a little too. I don't like the fact that how openly evil or openly scoffing she seems to be. I feel like if she's in Section 31 and she's secretly this mirror person and no one else knows about it, she'd be more secretive. And I don't feel like I see that secretive quality of her as much as like openly mocking everyone seems to be to go against her actual purposes.
Secretive to me seems against her nature, right? She's a conqueror, so she should be taking chances, and that's what she's doing.
She's taking chances.
So, because she's bold and doing all this stuff, I think she should have a bold character.
Okay. All right. We also do see that...
And also, the whole... what I like about her character is... And actually, I'll say this. Sometimes I have qualms about whether or not I like Michelle Yeoh as an actress. But I like the character. And I like that, she's got a sense of humor about all the good things that everybody else wants to do, and she's like, why should I do that stuff?
True.
So I like all that.
True. She does not have the same moral code as everyone else, and so that makes her interesting in that way. Yeah,
and if you think about Lorca from the first season, and now her now, I think that's what is...
She's playing the part of like mirror universe person put into non-mirror place. What would that person? Yeah. How would that person get along?
Right. And the thing that I've mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it here before, but the sort of problem that you have with the Gene Roddenberry universe is the idea that in the future there's no conflict, not with the Starfleet people, but you can have conflict with other people because they haven't learned how to be with the Starfleet yet. So it's like, okay, fine.
Right, no internal strife.
Right.
It seems unlikely.
And so it's hard to have a TV show if you don't have strife.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So this is a way around that.
Plus, and we do see that she takes chances to save, essentially, Michael. She saves the Discovery, but we feel like she's saving Michael to kind of maybe get leverage on her. But for whatever reason,
I mean, it was interesting that, to me, there's an interesting contrast between how readily and completely Michael now trusts Tyler.
In when did we see that?
Well, I mean, Pike was saying, "What's this with this guy? He doesn't seem like he's that." And she's like, "Oh, I trust him. I trust him completely, or whatever."
Okay.
And considering how the last season ended, I mean, certainly they left on good terms. And since the seasons began, she's always been trustful of him, or whatever.
Right, and he communicated to her via hologram from Kronos.
Right.
So
it suggests that you might be right in terms of Tyler and Culber. But I wonder if they're also coming to some sort of thing as well with Pike and Tyler, perhaps, or
Well, Pike certainly knows what happened and is incredibly distrustful of Tyler.
I forgot the way I was really going though is between Michael and Georgiou.
Oh, okay. There'll be a showdown eventually, you're saying?
No, that eventually she will trust her.
Well, she'll trust her. Okay.
Right now, she's not. She's
right,
still,
and she says, when will you trust me? Or something like that.
Right. So I think there'll be some point where they'll come to some sort of détente.
I think you are correct, except I wouldn't be surprised if then the twist would be, now that you trust me, I'll do something untrustworthy. That because she is from the mirror universe, that she still is this ultimately, she's like lawful evil. I think she's a lawful evil person, and so she's going to do something evil, and it's going to shock the conscience of Michael and be like, oh, right, you kill people, because it suits your purposes or something like that. And so they'll break off again. She'll trust her, they'll do something, but then
maybe, or she'll just know that she's always has to keep in mind what are her objectives. She has to okay, I have to know what you're doing here just so I can know how much I can trust you or not.
Well, there's also this thing of, Pike is obviously very, as he should be, very suspicious of New Georgiou.
Yeah. And they make it seem like Michael's gonna tell her.
Right, but when is that gonna happen? So she says, now's a bad time. He's like, well, okay, but don't make me hunt you down for answers.
Yeah. No, it really seems like this show later on is going to have a lot of dialogue.
A lot of dialogue. It had a lot of dialogue this show too.
We can't afford it.
Okay.
Oh wait, let me just defocus the camera and then refocus it once I've explained this incredibly long, and you'll have a beard.
All right, because you've been in the mycelial network.
No, because
but then it goes away.
That's right.
Okay, so some things about this show, this particular episode, I felt like there was a fair amount of filler in this episode. Two things seemed to take a lot of time that were annoying. One of them was that the beginning and the end of the episode was the very long voiceovers where they saw somebody running or walking in slow motion, typically Michael, and then we hear her voiceover, and it's not, obviously the tradition of Star Trek is they'll do the Captain's Log, Stardate 2748.3, we're in orbit around blah, 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 and they kind of give a little setup, or at the end they'll say Captain's Log Supplemental. Today I learned that not all people are whatever.
Right.
Good people, whatever. Okay, but so
not all people.
That's your moral of the day and your exposition of the day.
Right.
And so I think that's what they're trying to lean on as a framing device. Is kind of Trek used to do it that way. But what these things are like platitudes that are so generic, you could plug them in anywhere, and it's annoying because it's it's kind of this
One of the reasons why I think it stands out is actually it wasn't Michael's story.
We all have a choice. Family. Other things that are generically cool.
Right. So
hot chocolate. Okay, sorry. All right, so sorry. Yes, you're right. It's not Michael's story.
it's not Michael's story. So it's why is she narrating it? Why is
Right.
she trying to come to some sort of understanding?
Who's she
about
talking
something?
to either?
Yeah,
But,
right. Right, yeah. Well, it's like maybe the same person that Kirk was talking to.
Well, at least he's talking to a machine. It's like I'm recording this for
They
posterity.
established that she has a log too.
Okay.
So it might be her log where she's doing
Just
that.
be more specific in your talks to the log. How
But
about that?
I think it would have been more cogent perhaps if it was Tilly, although since Tilly wasn't around at the start of the show, having Tilly be the
of that particular episode,
Right.
in other words.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
was
yeah.
my episode. This
Yeah.
is what I learned
Or
today.
it could have been actually, I think Stamets would have been perfect, right? Because he could just talk about loss and, at the beginning when Michael came in. So, feeling the immense responsibility at losing Tilly. So but then at the end,
gaining
he
Culver
gained
back.
Culver back, yeah. So that would have been fine.
Yeah, but
know?
it
We haven't established that yet, but I think it would have been fine because I think even though we're supposed to be meeting more people this season, I still think they're still dragging their feet. We're still not getting enough of these other characters in there. So,
and it just felt uninspired, and like it really did. It took a lot of time for not much payoff.
And the other thing,
you're not giving us. So the other thing was, it was the away mission generally, but it was a series of, in the old days it was tilt camera and fall down. Wow. There was a ton of camera tilts, metaphorically speaking, and then just a ton, like, oh my God, at any second our ship's rending apart, and a whole bunch of cutbacks to that. Literally, like every minute, it was just coming back to what's the latest? Oh, now we're down to 5%. Okay, great. We're gonna die any second. What's the latest? Now we're down to 3.5%. Like, okay. Meanwhile, just some very unrushed, unurgently spoken dialogue happening in this mycelial network where it just didn't. It was like, wait, you're being told literally. On the regular, you're being told, hey guys, we're about to blow up. And you're like, okay, we'll be any second. Remember that time at the museum? I don't know if you remember, but meant a lot to me. And, hey, we're going to blow up any second. All right, we're going to be right there. We're almost there. Hey, May, I don't know. I've never had a friend before. I'm like, what are you doing? Move! And so they spent a lot of time trying to set up the urgency of the situation. That just seemed so repetitive. By the 10th time they came back to, whoa, I was checked out. I was like, okay, it's obviously going to get resolved. This whole, you're just wasting time now. I don't need to see this. I get it. The ship's in trouble and you need these guys to get back. Every time you come back to it now, you've passed the threshold of meaningful. You're now into redundant, boring. It just, I don't know.
Well, for me, it wasn't so much seeing the crew having to deal with the consequences of that. I just thought if any of them were in the room at the time with them, be like, I'm going to kill all of you, and then tell them that they're just dead. We have to leave now.
Because the away team did not seem to have the same urgency as the people on the ship, and it was a weird juxtaposition. I guess it was highlighted by the fact that they kept referring to it. Like, let's say if they had just shown one shot of, oh, the ship's in some trouble, we should probably get them back, and then you spend the rest of the time in the away mission, it'd be one thing. But because they kept coming back, going, it's worse, we have seconds, you have to get back. Okay, got it. I don't think I ever told you this statement. Like, what are you doing? Why are you not moving faster? That was not, I thought, well scripted.
No, I mean, there was, like, you could certainly say, and I don't think they played it right, with Stamets wanting to resolve his situation with Culber. So he was somebody who would want to spend more time than is necessary. That's true.
Good point.
But then there are so many others that I don't want to get rid of, especially since.
Yeah. Well, there was also the thing of so May. I thought it was a false conflict where she grabs the gun and she's going to shoot the monster, Culber. And they're like, no. We're going to give you human instincts or human emotions and ascribe them to you and tell you that you don't have to do that. How will you feel later? I don't know that she would feel anything. But also to the point
I'm about to kill a monster.
Right.
I think I'd feel pretty good.
I feel pretty good. But also the fact that it was just a false conflict because they're going to get rid of the monster anyway. They're not going to kill Culber, but their intent is to take him away. So they're going to get rid of the monster. They could just say that. Like, look, we're going to get rid of him. Yeah. Don't worry. But, you don't have to shoot him. Anyway, but instead it was, search your feelings. You know it to be true. Spore that is in the shape of a young woman. This episode didn't really work for me so well.
Yeah, no, it didn't work for me. Well, sorry, I should say there were elements that didn't. Even though I'm glad they finally got Culber back on the show because it was clear that's where they were going. So it's like, let's just get that back.
I think you're right. I think it was clear. The fact that they'd seen him in the network before meant that he was around.
And in interviews, they were saying there's more to the story. There's more to the story.
Even last season, he was like, there's more to the story. So it wasn't like a between seasons decision. Like they knew this was coming. He's back now. Good for that.
And I think we're further along with the end of the Spore drive.
See, I would almost argue with you on that. Because you were saying last episode, this is where they're going to remove the Spore drive now because they're hurting the inhabitants of the mycelial network. My point is, it seemed like they fixed the problem because May pulled in Tilly to kill the monster. They got rid of the monster. Now everything can grow again, I assume. And they can keep using a Spore drive.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
But I think they're clearly setting it up, and why there's no actual reason for them to have the Spore drive. The whole artificial reason they used it the last time, that place is so far, or just put it closer. I mean, there's no reason why it had to be so far away. Right. That stupid planet.
You're saying show-wise, just move the planet closer so you don't have to use the Spore drive.
Yep.
They wanted to use it because it looked cool.
That's why. Yeah. Well, because they wanted to establish that it was still being used. And it makes them upset when you use it and everything. So
that's what you mean in this season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think the Spore drive will be used again in the near future, but
I'm saying that they'll be really wrapping it up by that point.
Okay. All right.
It's got a life support.
Did we buy Tilly's reaction to being freed from May? Because she was crying like she lost a friend.
I don't think they had enough time to establish that.
I agree. That seemed like something you would, if whatever, weeks had gone by, but instead of like an hour.
Right. And I think that was a mistake to play her shock so much. Actually, I think they should have really had her be on top of it as to why am I here? Why did you pull me here? And really be negotiating with her instead of, they want to establish that she's freaking out, but you could be scared and quiet at the same time. So sort of like Reds are like, okay, I don't know why you've done this. I'm hoping you're not crazy. So what do you need, May?
You're saying that there was some time there that was not well spent, in other words?
Well, I think they wanted to... They actually could have began to establish that they had emotional connection at that point. Instead of waiting till the end, like, oh, you know what? Actually, they're kind of close. I mean, they did a little bit of like where it's like, oh, the reason why we were, same sort of qualities or whatever, but,
I could see that she could understand the motivations. Like, oh, you were trying to save your kind. Right. But to then be like, and I miss you as my only friend. Like, I'm not sure
you forgot about Michael.
I don't know that they earned that.
A much better friend.
That's right. Who's not a Spore.
Nope.
So, all right. Anyway, there you go, everybody. I don't like crapping on a show. Damn it. It was not my favorite episode. I'm hoping for better episodes coming up. So fingers crossed. But Saints of Imperfection, perhaps well named. And we will, I had a little Valentine's. It was like dropped on Valentine's Day.
That was why.
And they brought Culber and set it together.
That's the thing I thought.
For Valentine's. So there you go. Had a little happy ending that way.
There you go.
So, all right, we'll be back. We're going to be talking the series finale, basically, of Counterpart.
Yeah.
And we're going to check out Umbrella Academy and see if it's worth chatting about.
Yeah.
If it is, then we'll be doing some Umbrella Academy stuff. If you in the chat have watched maybe the first episode already and think we should do recaps of it,
Or like stay away.
Or stay away, yeah. More to the point. So anyway, thanks everybody. We'll talk to you next time.